Okay, we're set. Hello everyone and welcome to the brand new Beautypedia live chat. This is where we're going to answer all of your skincare and makeup product questions and little beauty quandaries. So this will be a fun show. I'm really excited. This is our first one. It's the best and worst products of February edition, I guess we could say.
I'm stoked. I'm ready to go. It's pretty cool. I'm Mercedes Santa-A-Lam. You've seen me a few times before. I am the lead researcher and writer for Beautypedia, and it's really interesting because we have a lot of products. Of course, we're going to go over those that earned our best and those that earned our worst rating. And what's really cool is the way it kind of hashed out this month is that there are actually different categories. We have foundations, sunscreens, and BB and CC creams, and we have a best and worst of each. So it's kind of an interesting balance this time out.
Worked out to be a nice little pairing. You know, sometimes it's kind of all over the place, but this one actually worked out pretty well. So it'll have a nice bit of cohesiveness to it. So, you know, and then I don't even think I introduced myself.
Oh, guys, this is Nathan. He's awesome. He actually has a last name too. Go for it.
So my name is Nathan. I was so excited to get into it. So my name is Nathan Rivas. I'm the content team manager and senior researcher here for the team. And one thing I did want to make sure that we mention is that we also are going to have, because today, you know, there's only so much time in an hour, so we're also going to have a full list of all of the best and worst skincare and then best and worst makeup products that will go up on the Beautypedia Facebook page. So the best and worst skincare we'll put up today after the show, and then the best and worst makeup we'll put up tomorrow. And so you'll have actually a full list of everything that we'll talk about today, plus many more products that we just don't have time to get to. So, and then don't forget to also check us out on our Twitter and Instagram that we just set up too. We're kind of all over the place.
Check it out.
We're
there. Whatever platform, we're there.
Yeah. Well, before we get too far into it, Mercedes, why don't we do a little bit of a recap on kind of a bit of background on how Beautypedia actually reviews products, because you know, there's always a lot of questions because we do things a little bit differently than I think a lot of other.
We do.
places.
Now, when it comes to skincare, of course, we take a scientific approach, which is probably the best approach. I mean, obviously, aesthetics come into play, like how it feels on your face. That's good as well. But we take a look at the ingredients and compare them against the claims. A lot of skincare companies, you've probably seen it, they kind of promise the moon everything. It's going to take away your wrinkles. You'll never see another pore on your face again. Acne will never be a problem in the rest of your life. And what we do is we look at those ingredients critically and see if they actually can do what's claimed. That's how we approach skincare. We really do look at it from published research. We go through a lot of different scientific journals and studies and check to see if the ingredients that are included can really do what they say. Because of course the reason we all buy skincare products is because we want it to work the way it says it does, and that's what we do, is we really do that research to see if it can say what it claims and go from there.
Yeah, you know, because even though, as Mercedes mentioned, a product might feel nice, you know, on your skin, if it doesn't have, you know, the ingredients that can really back up the claims that it's making, it doesn't really make a difference. As far as, you know, we're concerned, even though it might feel great and it might actually moisturize skin, if it's promising, you know, that it's going to tighten skin or reduce discolorations, you know, sorry, even though it's got nice aesthetics or it's, you know, really moisturizing, it's definitely going to be judged, you know, on the basis of whether or not it's got all of the stuff it needs to make good on those promises.
Absolutely. So, I forgot to mention as well, packaging is important.
Yeah.
That's another thing that we take into consideration, because there are some products that have great ingredients. They really do. I mean, they're really promising and they can do what they say if they weren't in the packaging that they were in. So, I mean, you've probably, if you're familiar with our reviews at all, you'll know that jar packaging, because antioxidants are in so much skincare, but for good reason. They're great ingredients. They're great anti-aging ingredients. But they're super sensitive to light and air. So any product that's full of antioxidants or other ingredients as well that is in a jar is going to be exposed to light and air, and those great ingredients are going to start to break down before you even finish the jar. So that's very important as well, is how it's packaged to make sure you're getting the maximum out of what you bought. And some of it's not exactly cheap, so if you're spending $70 on a moisturizer, you better be getting every single ounce of use out of it.
Yeah, and even if you buy a product I'm gonna go off on jars for just a little tiny bit, but even if you buy a product in a jar and you transfer it into a tube, you're essentially exposing that whole product to air in that transition. So that's not a great thing, for it in terms of keeping it stable. It's better than nothing, but certainly there's really not a single product in a jar that I've ever found that is so amazing that it doesn't have an alternative that's not in a jar.
Exactly.
Now, as far as makeup goes, that is a little bit different because with makeup, a lot of it, of course, does come down to subjectivity. You really have to, once you get, of course, aside from the ingredients, because that's one thing we're going to look at, even if a lip gloss might look beautiful and might have great color, if it's loaded with like peppermint oil or something along those lines, or that's certainly going to count against it. But with makeup, of course, it is something that we definitely have to try and see how it actually works out. And it's one thing that we were actually just talking about this earlier today, is that it's one of those experiences, makeup goes, that it's not always the same for everyone.
True, very true. It's kind of well, so how we try to approach, because obviously a lip color that looks good on me might not look good on you, or a foundation for oily skin. I have really dry skin, so a foundation for oily skin is obviously not going to work well for me because it's more mattifying and I have dry skin. So how we try to look at it is how it actually performs, if it performs as claimed. In other words, if a foundation works well, it works well. And you can look at it from the perspective of, even if on me it's a little bit drying, I can say, well, this is for very oily skin. So it works well in that regard. If a makeup product isn't like exactly my same skin tone or color, but it is a natural looking skin tone on someone with darker skin, then that gets, it's a natural looking color, even though it's not my natural looking color. It is a natural looking color, so that's taken into consideration. And also just how performance is a big thing. If you have an eyeshadow palette that's gorgeous and it works well, but you have to put a ton of primer on, what we like to say is basically it should perform sort of out of the gate really well. In other words, you shouldn't have to have a lot of accompanying products to make it work for you. A foundation should be able to work well regardless of whether you have primer. Primer's a nice sort of addition, and it can certainly help make the application process smoother, but if a foundation absolutely doesn't work without primer, it should be able to work just well on its own. So that's definitely considered as well.
Yeah, a primer is one of those things that can be a nice enhancement, but you definitely should not be, someone you shouldn't be obliged to buy a primer to get, the basics out of an eyeshadow or a foundation. We were talking about this one earlier too, that,
Exactly.
we had a fan who couldn't understand the rating of a foundation because she'd said, well, you really have to put a primer on before you test a foundation or before you wear a foundation to get the most out of it. And that's just like, no, you should not have to wear that before you put on a foundation.
Otherwise, if a primer is necessary for a product to work as it's supposed to, then it should come in a match in a kit. Like you get a foundation, when you buy the product, you get a primer with it. So if that's the only way it works, then it should come with a primer. You shouldn't have to go out and buy the foundation, take it home, and then realize it doesn't work without a primer, and then have to go back to the store and pick it up. And that's, it should come in a twin pack.
Exactly, a twin pack, yeah, like a dual phase jar,
exactly,
primer and
that's
mesh,
it.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and in the end, of course, you don't have to agree, with us. It is just makeup, it is, and really when it comes to skincare, we might not find a particular product outstanding and a best, but it might be rated a good, and that's still great. It's still a good is still a good. You might love a product. You don't really need to think that only the best is usable. There are a lot of really good products out there that are just good. Mm-hmm. So a lot of
They're
things
worthy
to
as
consider.
well. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you want to talk about some products before we get into it?
Oh, yeah. So, of course, we always have we have a lot of products actually in the queue. They're coming up. A lot of companies have released a ton of stuff in the past few months. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been tons of stuff. So there are two on my list right now. This one has gotten a lot of press and attention, so you've probably seen it. If not, you will, I'm assuming. It's the Hourglass Modernist palette. Now, Hourglass does a beautiful job with packaging, just really elegant looking.
Certainly is pretty.
This is how it's look at that. That's gorgeous. It looks like a little sand
Yeah.
sand painting, something like that. So this one's getting a lot of press. There are several different shades in the palette, I think 4 or 5. This one is the Infinity shade. So I'm going to be testing that out and see how it works. Let you know if it's worth the $58 that it costs.
Yeah, Hourglass does make some attractive products, I'd say.
They do. It's gorgeous. And then there's this. No, this is not my sunglass case. This is a new product from Peter Thomas Roth. You see the cucumbers. Of course, one of the greatest sort of, you hear all the time, put some cucumbers on your eyes and it'll reduce puffiness. So they've kind of gone with that advice.
Detox.
Detox, yes. Depuffing eye cubes.
Eye cubes.
Eye cubes. So the concept behind this is kind of like the old school, take the cucumbers and put it on your face and it'll reduce puffiness. It's very interesting because it comes in this little blister pack with liquid in it. So you stick these in your freezer right by the ice cream if you want. And you wait until it freezes and solidifies, and then you take it out of the pack and put it in one of these gauze baggies. And then put it over your eyes. Only 3 to 5 minutes each. So it's a little bit of a process. It's not exactly like just open right out of the box and there you go. There's a process to it. So
detox.
Detox. Not
that's
one of Nathan's favorite words when it comes to skincare.
No, detox is not. Detox is not a thing. It's not a thing, especially for skincare. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Oh no,
interrupt you.
that's totally fine. So this will be interesting. I'll be testing this out pretty soon as well to see exactly how this works. It's kind of an interesting concept, but we'll see if it actually works in the practical application.
All right, so those are some of the products that Mercedes is taking a look at, and there are a lot of things we're taking a look at, but one is, actually I'm going to do this one first. So Nars actually just released their dual intensity blush, and this is a dual intensity, or is it dual intensity?
Dual
yeah,
intensity.
yeah.
That
Put
is
together
really
I showed.
pink.
Yeah, it is very, very pink. So this is their adoration shade, and there's actually, I think there's 6 shades, so I want to say. And so the whole thing behind this one is that it's supposed to be used wet or dry, and so wet is supposed to be kicking in that high intensity, finish to it. And they do have quite a bit of sheen to them. And the interesting thing about this, though, is that the actual sheen itself is not sparkly. And so the thing with this is that a lot of Nars blushes, especially if you're familiar with Nars as a brand, they tend to really like their shimmer. And so some of them can have some pretty visible glitter and kind of chunkiness. But this is actually reminiscent of, gosh, what is the name of their highlighter? And I cannot think of it. I can't think of it right now, but it has a very nice kind of sheen to it. So I'll definitely be talking a lot about those on Beautypedia, and we'll probably, I'm sure, do a Beautypedia review of it. But definitely an interesting product from Nars, and certainly kind of an interesting way to introduce another blush, because I don't think they've had a new really type of blush in some time.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think they have. But they're known for their blush is kind of every brand kind of has its sort of flagship product, and for Nars is definitely the blushes.
I agree.
That's their bread and butter.
Dr. Carver's Miracle Repair Serum. And this is actually from Dollar Shave Club. And Dollar Shave Club is...
Their commercials are awesome.
I know. Dollar Shave Club is a brand that is kind of just really getting more widely known. They had a lot of kind of social media fame from their commercials. Certainly the guy who runs Dollar Shave Club is kind of he's got a lot of marketing history to him. So he was certainly up on that. But, for those who don't know what Dollar Shave Club is, they do a kind of monthly shave razor subscription service, and then every month you get a razor, and it's very inexpensive, for a low price. They just started introducing some new skincare products, and this one, the Miracle Repair Serum, is one of them. I'm actually going to be taking a look at the whole line. There's only 3 products. There's a moisturizer, and there's a shave gel cream product, and this one is it's a serum, and it's $9, and it's 2 ounces.
That's a good amount, too.
I know, 2 ounces of product.
That's like a bargain size in the world of serum.
Yeah, and it's a glass, just opaque enough to protect the ingredients, jar container. It's in a pump. and it's got a lot of good, interesting ingredients to it. So I'll take a look at this, and then also the moisturizer itself, and you'll see those reviews this week. Actually, will be up on the site, or at least on our YouTube channel. So definitely really excited about these and Dollar Shave Club in general.
Yeah,
so.
If you haven't seen their commercials, go on YouTube and look up Dollar Shave Club, because they're pretty funny. They're pretty clever ads.
Yeah, so before we get into the actual show, all of the favorite, or rather best and worst products for Beautypedia, I thought we could take a couple of questions here, and one of them was from Mariana. Mariana had the question, we were talking about this just before the show, is she was very interested in knowing which wipes are the best if there's no time or energy to do a routine. And then Ria Lynn had a similar question, what would be a good face wipe to use if they're too lazy to actually go through the whole process of washing their face. And you had some great suggestions.
It's true. You come home at the end of the day, sometimes it's been a really long day and you don't feel like doing the full cleaning routine. We've all been there where you want to just sack out. Honestly, baby wipes. That's what I use. Actually, it works really well. We're talking about well-formulated baby wipes, and for sensitive skin, fragrance-free if you can, definitely. So fragrance-free, sensitive skin baby wipes are a great way to kind of like just take the daily grime off of your face. If it's really a well-formulated baby wipe, of course, it's great for sensitive skin because of the fact that, what skin's more sensitive than infants? So if it's suitable for use there, I just buy baby wipes in like the big pack and just use them. I mean, they're great. They're really convenient. They're not expensive, and they're really good, not heavily fragranced, so they're good for your skin. Now, if you do have waterproof makeup on, like a waterproof mascara, baby wipes are not going to take all of that off. So what I usually do is I usually just wipe down my face with a baby wipe first, and then go in the areas where the waterproof makeup is and just use a makeup remover and a cotton pad, and it's 3 minutes. That's it. That's done. 3 minutes, and then you can hit the sack.
Absolutely. I did see on the subject of makeup wipes, or just kind of wipes in general, is the Acure, which is another brand that we're going to be reviewing soon. It's kind of a much smaller brand, Acure Organics, and they just started selling it at Target. I have no idea how old this brand is, if it's still pretty new, but it just started popping up at Target, kind of more of the larger ones. And they have a pretty small line that is sort of based around argan oil. Around argan oil and some other natural ingredients, naturally derived ingredients combined with synthetics. Nothing wrong with that. But their makeup wipes they're unscented argan wipes is what they're called. And it's actually just really pretty much the name. It's just an unscented, mild makeup wipe that has an oil, kind of base to it. A little bit pricier. I think they're $9 for a pack of 50 or 60, I want to say. So definitely on the pricey side. But just to contrast with Mercedes' suggestion, there is absolutely nothing wrong with using a unfragranced baby wipe, because those ingredients and those formulas are really not any different than what makeup wipes are made from.
Exactly. They're not that far off of makeup wipes. In fact, in most cases, makeup wipes actually have like more fragrance and things that aren't as good for your skin. So baby wipes in general are probably a better way to go, because a lot of makeup wipes add fragrance, and you don't really need that on your skin when you're trying to get it clean. You don't want to add fragrance while you're trying to get stuff off your face.
Yeah, especially when you want to get it like around the eye area, if you're trying to wipe away, eye makeup, that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Okay, well, I think we should probably get into the show now, because we do have a lot of products to get through.
A lot of ground to cover.
Yes. So do you wanna get us started?
Okay. So for best and worst, up first, cleansers. So we have two cleansers, of course. One made of best. That's CeraVe. CeraVe is a brand that actually has a lot of great. Overall, by and large, they do a really good job.
Yes.
Now this is called their Renewing SA Cleanser. The SA stands for salicylic acid. Now this got a best because it is a fragrance-free, gentle cleanser that will do the job without leaving a residue. But that salicylic acid there, don't rely on this to exfoliate your skin, because in any cleanser, it's not on your face long. Salicylic acid has to kind of sit on your face to really take effect. I mean, it does have to kind of. It has
I don't know
to
why
be
that's
on
funny to me.
It has to like sit on your face for a little while. You've got to like leave it on your face, and this is a cleanser, so you're rinsing it off, so you won't get the benefit. So definitely don't. It's not a replacement for your BHA exfoliant, but it's a great cleanser.
It is a good cleanser.
I like that Turner phrase.
Yeah. Now for the worst cleanser of the month, and that I guess award, that Razzie goes to the Glam Glow Super Cleanse Daily Treatment Cleanser. And this is a cleanser that is, it's kind of their first cleanser, I believe. They did just come out with one or two more, and this is called what they call a mud to foam cleanser, and it's really designed to kind of capitalize on their mask, their Super Cleanse mask, which is.
Is that the color?
It is, yeah, a mud to foam. So it actually does look
wow.
like an actual. Let me put it on something because it's
like,
really smelly. So it comes out and it looks just like a mask. It looks just like a kind of charcoal mask. And
ooh,
yeah,
ooh, smells like toothpaste or licorice. Something
exactly.
Like
So this is. It claims to be able to shrink your pores, to clean your pores out, to mattify your skin, to also to help soothe irritation, all manner of things. But it is really at the core a very irritating, very I guess you'd say very stripping cleanser, if that makes sense. It uses a very potent cleansing agents, sodium C1416 olefin sulfonates, and then it also contains, if that weren't enough, I'm sorry, I feel like I was going to hit you there for a second.
No, I'm okay, it's all right.
It also contains eucalyptus and peppermint oils too, on top of that. So it's just like this whole, like this car wreck of things, and it's expensive too. What is it? I think it's $39. $39 for this slap in the face, essentially, of a cleanser. Really, as Mercedes mentioned, you really can't expect your cleanser to do anything in terms of exfoliating or treating skin. It's really just, a good way to get things off your face in as gentle a way possible.
Exactly.
It's definitely not a treatment step. You can find some moisturizing cleansers. This is not one of them, but it's just kind of an unfortunate product. So that's all I had to say about that.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's all I have to say about
I know.
that. That was kind of the...
Do you have anything else to say about that?
I think that's about. Wow, it's potent. I don't know if you smelled this before. That's the first time I smelled it. That is potent. That is strong.
And I didn't need to use it in order to get the rating, for it that it earned because of the fact its formula was just so awful. But I was just curious to see how long that scent would last. So I actually ended up just washing my hands with it because I didn't want to put it on my face. And for like half of the day until about lunch, I could still smell the eucalyptus coming off it. So it was definitely a very unfortunate experience. Actually, we have a kind of a good conversation here, and so. I did want to kind of touch on this. So, okay, so one of the questions from Laura Hopus was, what is the best cleansing oil for dry skin? And cleansing oils. So, have you tried any cleansing oils? Any of the ones that have come out recently?
I haven't, actually. I do have dry skin, but I haven't tried any cleansing oils just yet. Although I've heard there are some ones that are good out there, so.
Yeah, I mean, they have definitely, and Laura, I will assume that you're not talking about using just like an oil to just, to clean things off your face. I mean, if you're just, because people do use, coarse oil as makeup remover to help break substances up. But in terms of cleansing oils, there are a lot of new technologies, I guess you could say, around them. And we've seen new brands come out with new cleansers that are really more like oils at first or moisturizing formulas at first that emulsify on contact with water. So it's not like using a traditional oil.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I have heard about those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Clinique has one that take the day off cleansing oil or something along those lines that might be kind of butchered on there. And then First Aid Beauty did just come out one with a milk oil conditioning cleanser was one. And then I know Dior has another one as well, and then Garnier actually has one that's pretty nice too. Although theirs is a bit more closer to an actual oil. But those are all great options for people who have dry skin as an experiment. Yeah. In terms of just being able to just use them as cleansers, I mean they work out pretty well. if you do have dry skin. For just using an actual oil as like a makeup remover or as like a replacement for a cleanser, like the oil cleansing method, that one is a bit trickier because there's really nothing to get all of that oil off. And I don't know why it's not updating there. So there's really nothing to get all that oil off your skin, and so usually you have to use a cleanser on top of that. I definitely wouldn't recommend using an oil on its own unless you just have severely dry, very
really
irritated.
skin.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope that helps. Okay, well, so moving on to the next product.
Foundation. Drum roll.
Drum roll.
Okay, so we have behind
Are
us.
you going to do the best?
I'll
do the best
do
you
the best first. We'll go
Yeah.
for the best first. It's Maybelline's new Fit Me Matte and Poreless. Now, they've had a Fit Me liquid foundation for a while, but this is the oily skin version. The other one was more for dry skin, and this one is actual for like normal to oily. And it actually did really well. I mean, as far as being a good foundation for oily skin. There we go.
Matte and poreless.
Matte and poreless. I don't know if anybody can truly be poreless, but it does do a good job at kind of blurring pores without actually settling into them. So I mean, it does reduce the appearance of pores, which is what it claims to do, and it is matte but not drying, which a lot of times matte products kind of try to find that balance between being truly matte and then actually not drying out, but not being too matte. There's kind of a...
Yeah, that's the problem with, it is a problem with, I'm just reading the ingredients while I'm talking to you. But that is a problem with mattifying foundations, is that it's hard to find one that's actually kind of comfortable. And so some of them out there end up being, a little bit too matte or too thick, and they can go on and look a bit cakey, which is never a good thing. And then you want to have some time to actually be able to work with it, work with the formula.
Oh, yeah, before it's kind of like you have it halfway across, or you have a swipe across your face and then it's set. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And this one does have, for those of you who have tried this one actually does have, quite a bit of mattifying agents, to it, or absorbent agents to it. It also does have some alcohol in it, but it's pretty low down the list, so it's not as big of a concern here, especially when it comes to, foundation. When it's higher up on the list, when it's like within those first couple of ingredients, that's when it's definitely going to be a problem. And I guess that brings us to
I was about to say, that's a great segue.
Great segue to our...
Because this has a lot of alcohol in it.
The French in their alcohol.
Lancôme. It's the nude miracle. It's not miraculous.
It's like the nude letdown.
You have to tell them about how this is actually a formula that's popping up all over the place. This is not anything unique to Lancôme. Well, I have some other products to hand to you.
This nude miracle is not even a nude. It's not even unique.
No, it's not.
It's like...
A lot of companies now are coming out with, of course, lightweight foundations are kind of what everybody is looking to. Like fuller coverage with a lightweight finish is what is kind of the ideal. That's kind of the holy grail of foundations, because you want to be able to cover up everything you want to cover, but you don't want to look like you have foundation on. Ideally, the point of foundation is to look like you have perfect skin. That's kind of the point, to even out your skin tone and blur imperfections.
Oh boy, I can smell the alcohol coming off that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you can't. But lately there have been these formulas that have been coming out that are supposed to be lightweight SPF, and the problem with all of them is, first and foremost, that you can't get, it's not broad spectrum SPF protection. It has a single sunscreen ingredient, octinoxate, and it's at 3%, but that's not broad spectrum. You really need to have something that can block both UVA and UVB rays, and octinoxate, while a good sunscreen ingredient, can't do all the heavy lifting there. It needs some help from some other ingredients. And they're loaded with alcohol. That obviously contributes to the lighter weight finish. Alcohol dries quickly, so it's going to feel lighter weight, but it's really bad for your skin. Collagen damage, all sorts of stuff like that. Not good to be putting on your face every day. And so this Lancôme product is just the latest in a line of products that pretty much have the exact same ingredients. 3% octinoxate, high amount of alcohol. There's Lancôme. There is
Fusion Ink.
Yves Saint Laurent's. Laurent. I
Laurent.
hope I'm saying that properly.
You are.
Anybody who speaks French, you can tell me. And
I love that it says on the back, flammable.
yeah, keep away from flame and heat. So this one, pretty much 3% octanoxate, high amount of alcohol, and then there's its cousin, its drugstore cousin, the Maybelline Dream Wonder Fluid Touch Foundation, which also has 3% octanoxate and the high amount of alcohol. So it's basically carbon copies. And you were saying that this other Lancome foundation, which I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Spanish is my second language, not French.
Tient Idol Ultra 24-Hour Makeup. This is actually really similar to the Nude Miracle, which is suddenly not so miraculous as you mentioned after all.
They're like fraternal twins.
Exactly. The Nude Miracle needs to get dressed because no one's interested.
That's
yes, so this is also a 3% octanoxate sunscreen product. So gosh. It definitely feels nice on skin. There is no denying that.
It's lightweight, of course. Yeah, I mean, the alcohol dries quickly, so it's going to feel lightweight. It's going to feel great initially, but you put this on every day, and you're going to start to see some problems cropping up after a while.
It's just not worth it, and especially when there are so many great alternatives. If you want a super fluid foundation, that does offer a lot of coverage. If you have oily to combination skin and you have dry skin and you don't mind wearing a ton of moisturizer before you put on your foundation, the Nars All Day Weightless Luminous foundation is amazing formula. Once you kind of learn how it works best to apply on your face, because for some people they find their fingers work great, but really it seems like brushes or sponges work the best, or even actually kind of brushes tend to work better because the sponges, again, don't tend to work as well with this formula, but that's somewhat individual. But that's a great formula, but it is definitely more of a powdery, kind of matte finish. Someone with oil or dry skin probably wouldn't find that comfortable. Another one, though, that is super fluid, that does offer a nice amount of coverage and is actually workable for dry skin, is the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Fluid Foundation. That one is definitely lightweight. It has a lot of coverage. It is not a matte finish, though. So those are some good options other than this non-nudie miracle.
Yeah, and the thing is that for the price that you're paying for this, essentially, there are ingredient differences, of course, but essentially, for this product, this Lancome product, which of course is pretty expensive, it's Lancome. It's not that much different from the Maybelline, and that's $10 at the drugstore. So they're both bad formulas, but one's bad formula at a high price, and the other one is bad formula for $10. So don't get either of them, though.
No, it's not. One thing I was going to mention that I don't know if you mentioned the amount of coverage this has. This is more of a light to medium coverage formula, but definitely more of a natural looking coverage, for those, if you have some discolorations, you might need to top it off with some concealer or something afterwards, but otherwise it's a pretty good formula. So next, BBs and CC creams.
Yes, BBs and CC creams. Still a thing.
It is still a thing.
Still a thing.
Brands are still releasing them, for some reason. The best, I guess, I'll...
you need me to grab that for you?
I got it, I think. So this month, this MD Solar Sciences was a new addition to Beautypedia, and they actually have a mineral beauty balm, their SPF 50 mineral beauty balm, and this is really just a tweaked version of their tinted sunscreen, their tinted formula, which is, I've heard conflicting things from different mineral MD Solar Sciences people that they're discontinuing it and just replacing it altogether with this formula here.
I've heard that too. They kind of
Yeah.
Hard to get a clear answer on that one.
And so that's why we didn't actually add that one, because when I had spoke to them first, they were like, oh yeah, it's being discontinued. And then they were kind of wishy-washy afterwards. So if it's still around in a month or two, we might add it to the site. But this is actually, even though they call it Mineral Beauty Balm, it is actually not a beauty balm in the traditional sense at all. It's really just more of a tinted sunscreen, you know, with antioxidants and such. But it is still a good product. You know, for those who are looking for a mineral sunscreen that does offer some tint to it to help counteract the white cast, because this does have a white cast, Mineral MD Solar Sciences certainly does have a lot of zinc oxide on their formulas. The thing with zinc oxide and MD Solar Sciences, and why I'm doing this, is that all of their formulas are silicone based, so they tend to separate a bit, which is the thing. Yeah. And so this is their light medium formula, and it's already kind of dripping a little bit. So it's hard to see because that's going to drip fast. So this is their light medium formula, and it's actually light medium. I'm so curious to see what that looks like on the back of your hand.
Yeah.
So their light medium formula, and you can see like that just disappears right away. You know, when it's rubbed in. And so their light medium is even kind of more on the more flexible. The medium tan shade is also not that much different. Oh yeah, so you should hold it up to the camera for them.
You can't even see it. Nathan and I are not the same skin tone.
Exactly, it is.
But,
this is a nude miracle.
There it is.
This is the true nude miracle. So this formula, it has a nice tint to it to help counteract that white cast. But the thing with it, though, is that it does take some effort to get off. You know, after you put on your kind of requisite quarter teaspoon amount on your face, you'll find that it doesn't really want to come off at the end of the day. You know, you really have to use either a makeup wipe or a cleansing wipe or like an oil before your cleanser to kind of break it up.
It is on there.
I know, yeah, I definitely had to, the Clarisonic was, I'm glad it was there for me. Because, you know, it took some effort to get off. But for those who are looking for this type of product, you know, that doesn't have a white cast to it, you know, and is somewhat lightweight, it's certainly lighter than some of their other formulas, then it's definitely one to consider. It is definitely pricey, though. This is $39.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely something that if you're going to wear this every day as your sunscreen, more than likely you're going to want to put it on top of something else, another sunscreen that you don't mind putting all over your face. So it is definitely a something to consider. So
I have to give a quick shout out, by the way, here. I'm looking on the live chat there to Sonia in East Orlando, Florida. The both of you. I am also an NC-15, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Represents.
Yeah, they're like, I'm NC-15. I'm like, that's me too.
That's as light as Matt goes, right?
It is pretty much. They have the NW-15 and the NC-15. I think that's as light as it goes. So, hello, my fellow pale people.
I think the only lighter shade that I've seen in a brand is, I think Nars has a shade that's slightly lighter than NC-15, which is like it's like Siberia and then not Alaska, but like I think Siberia is the one. But yeah, it's slightly lighter. But yeah, tends to be, boy, the super fair have it hard when it comes to foundations, I guess.
It's true, but Mac does a great job. So yay, NC-15.
So that was the best. Let's take a look at the not so best.
Dun dun dun.
Is this one is the CC from Andalou Naturals.
What's for sensitive skin.
Really? Sensitive skin.
That is not truth in advertising. Here it is. It says C, sensitive. And on the back, there it says, again, it's listed twice.
Yes.
Sensitive. It's not.
So the Andalou Naturals, so the CC Moisturizing Color Plus Correct, Color Plus Correction, Sheer Nude, and they also have Sheer Tan SPF 30. Andalou Naturals is kind of one of those brands that is, you know, kind of, there are lots of really great products and then lots of not so great products, and this is one of the latter, not so great. One of the unfortunate things about this is that this line is focused around, and it's called, let me give you a name here, 1000 Roses is the name of the line. and it smells like there are 1,000 roses inside this tube.
Was 999 roses not good enough? So just
Yes,
get that
exactly.
thousand,
We got
nice
to add that
rose
one
in
more,
there.
in there to crush your dreams, because this would have been actually a really nice formula. It has a lot of really good plant oils in it and a lot of nice moisturizing agents to it as well. So it would have been nice, and the color is even good too. I'm not going to make you put this on because it smells so bad. But this actually is like would be a dead-on match for Mercedes Shade. And you know you see. So the big problem with this is that the fragrance on this is so
Oh, wow, that's strong.
like
That is
white
very strong.
knuckle rose oil fragrance. I mean, I cannot imagine
You probably smell
having
your
this
face
on
all
my
day
face. You know, having this on my face all day long. And I had, when I first, got this, when they first got this in the order, I had put a little bit on the back of my hand like a fool, even though I smelled it coming out of the box. I was like, boy, that smells really strong. And so I put it on the back of my hand, and I had to wipe it off, and I threw the paper towel or the Kleenex away in my trash.
You can smell it coming out of there. We do this around the
I
office a
know.
lot, by the way, where we're like, we do. It's kind of like with your siblings when you're younger. Come smell this. This is terrible. Smell this. And it's true. Some of them are just like knock you down sort of fragrances. That one's pretty darn strong. I can imagine just having that under your nose,
Yeah.
all day long is
It's-
pretty intense.
It is, and that's why it absolutely landed a worst this month. And yeah, it's just polar opposites of products here. Even though this one is much less expensive. Did you review the IT Cosmetics CC cream?
I did not, but it is reviewed on our site.
Do you remember what it got?
What
What the rating was?
I
I don't remember what it is. We have Liz Moore is asking about the IT Cosmetics CC cream, and I believe that one actually earned a really nice rating, but you'll have to check the site, Liz, but I know for a fact, and Mercedes confirmed it for me, that wasn't crazy, that it absolutely is on the site, and so you can have that information there. And all right. So, I guess that's all I have to say about that. Do you have anything else to say?
No, that's strong. Just smelling it alone, I'm like, I would not want to have that under my nose all day long. I mean, initially you might be like, roses, but by about 8 hours in, you're going like, oh God, I need to get this off my face.
Yeah.
You said you did put it on your hand and you wiped it off. How long did it kind of stay around on your hand after you did?
It was around for a while. I mean, you really actually had to wash it off your face. And it's unfortunate because I, like Desi Makeup Girl mentioned, she likes Andalou Naturals, and there are a few products by theirs that I really like by them. They have really some nice serums and some nice eye moisturizers, and some good moisturizers in general. Their body butter, the Kukui Nut body butter, is a great product. Really good moisturizer with hardly any fragrance, any undesired fragrance in it. So a lot of really good products, but this is definitely not a winner, and not even a subjective winner. It's just got a lot of awful ingredients to it. So. Well, I think let me see how much time we have. Actually, we're doing really good on time.
Sonia has a question.
Sonia has a question.
Me, for the pail, the pail one here. You were saying about the Derma E, the BB cream. Light does work well. It will be a little bit darker than your natural skin tone, but once you blend it in, it's absolutely workable. I tried the light shade as well, and I found that it looked really natural once it's set. It worked for me, so hopefully it'll work for you as well. But I did find that the light shade was light enough for my skin tone.
That's Derma E was a really nice one. I was surprised.
It was really good. Yeah, I liked that one a lot. That was nice. Had some great ingredients and felt good while it was on. It was. I have dry skin. I think I've mentioned that about 50 times so far today. But it felt nice, but not so moisturizing that if you had more combination skin, it wouldn't be a problem. It was really nice. It's a really good product.
Oh, you know what? The IT Cosmetics CC cream only got a 1 star. It's because of all those darn essential oils. And I was just actually typing this now, but I was getting it confused with the lip CC cream.
Which is excellent.
That one is an excellent product. So remember that you even did a video on it, and it was really a nice formula. So I'm sorry, Liz, I led you astray. Okay, so I guess the last product is or actually second to last. We might actually go over this next one. It goes into sunscreens, and actually, again, it's between MD Solar Sciences and Andalou Naturals. Let's get that here. Do you want to tell us about their MD mineral cream, and I'll be the bearer of bad news?
Oh. Okay, well, it does. Now, first and foremost, this has it's a great mineral sunscreen. If you are a person who has, a lot of people with sensitive skin can't wear anything but mineral sunscreens, and this is a really high amount of mineral sunscreen. So it's going to do a great job giving you that broad spectrum protection that you're looking for. However, of course, since it does have a high amount of zinc oxide, we're talking 17% here, so that's pretty darn good. You're going to get a little bit of that sheer white cast that you get from mineral sunscreens. Kind of inevitable if you have that much, so that's something to consider, but it is you're going to get that sun protection for sure. And again, like I said, sensitive skin, rosacea, this is perfect. If you have any sort of sensitivity to sunscreen ingredients, this is going to be great for your skin. And it's water resistant for up to 80 minutes. Whoa, awesome. And fragrance free, of course. It wouldn't have gotten the best if it hadn't been fragrance free, but wow, 80 minutes.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why. And this is absolutely a polarizing formula because it is definitely, as a mineral sunscreen, especially as Mercedes was mentioning, 17% zinc oxide. Aside from the titanium dioxide, it does have that white cast. And it is, because of that water resistancy, it is definitely tenacious. It will hang on. But absolutely nothing is getting through this sucker in terms of sun UV rays. So if you want something that is going to be around and it's not going to let anything in, this is a good formula to consider. But if you do want to wear it, just kind of on a day-to-day basis, because of the fact that it is, it's a really nice, formula in terms of being a mineral sunscreen. Most people are going to have to either mix it with a tinted moisturizer that has SPF in it, or some type of bronzing gel or something to kind of cut the edge on this formula. But again, as we mentioned at the beginning, really it comes down to we evaluate the uniqueness of the formula, the performance of the formula, the effectiveness of it. While the aesthetics are polarizing, that's not really something that we are going to make up your mind for you. It's something that we just give you the facts, and that's really what you want to kind of decide from there. But let me show you kind of an example of what this looks like.
All right.
Yes. So this is...
Some like music or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or real-time speed.
And that's what it looks like. Yeah, exactly, real-time speed up. That's what it looks like, and it's not going to get much more transparent than that. So it's definitely going to give you a white cast, to it if you're just using it on its own. And so, I had to mix it with a little bit of bronzing gel just to kind of take the edge off of it the second or third time I tried it. But again, if you want that high performance protection, again, nothing is getting through this sucker in terms of it being a nice water resistant formula. Okay, well, the bad news. Bad news is that Andalou Naturals, the 1000 Roses Daily Shade.
1000 Roses.
I know, facial lotion SPF 18. It is unfortunate because this does suffer from the same downfalls as I mentioned with the CC cream, is that the fragrance is overpowering. And it's not so much the fragrance, because a little fragrance is something you can get by with in a product, but it's the type of ingredients that they used to accomplish the fragrance, the essential oils. It's just not essential oils. When they go bad, in terms of being for skin, they're really bad in terms of causing some potential triggers for irritation, especially for a product that's designed for sensitive skin.
That's one of the main factors as well, is this has sensitive skin all over it, labeled all over it, and this one, that's perfect for sensitive skin.
Yes.
This is great. If you have sensitive skin, this is where this is the way to go. But this one is absolutely not. If you have sensitive skin, rosacea, that's going to be an issue for you.
Yeah, it's just it's unfortunate because otherwise it would have been a nice formula. Just the same thing with their CC. It has a lot of really nice emollients to it. You know, some antioxidants. You know, the claims are a little fantastic, but you know, the same thing with the other Andalou Naturals products that we rated really well. That, you know, we can get past that because the formulas were good. In this case, you know, we just couldn't look past the just a staggering amount of essential oils and fragrance in a formula that's marketed towards sensitive skin. Amy Coulter wants to know, Mercedes, your lipstick is absolutely gorgeous. Can you tell us what it is?
Yes, I can. This is Max Mineralize, if I can speak. It's Max Mineralized Moisture lipstick, and the color is called All Out Gorgeous. So.
All Out Gorgeous. It is an all out gorgeous color.
I love this color. It's great. It's one of my go-to colors. I for some reason I really like reddish lipsticks. That's kind of my thing.
So we had a few questions here about alternative mineral sunscreen options. So Desi Makeup Girl wanted to know some other mineral suggestions, mineral sunscreens. And Sonia had mentioned Paula's Choice. Paula's Choice does have some great mineral options as well. There's a few to choose from, actually. And then East Orlando, Florida, wanted to know about some lighter daily formulas too. So aside from the great options that Paula's Choice has, a few other good formulas. The Replenix, God, I can never get that mineral, I get that confused with the SkinCeuticals, which both Replenix and SkinCeuticals have some really great physical daily SPF formulas. But again, when it comes to, you know, when it really comes to the mineral aspect of it, whether or not it's going to feel like right for you aesthetically or look right for you aesthetically is kind of more of a personal preference. You really got to kind of try it and see whether or not that amount of white cast feels right for you.
And I can't remember what I'm trying to think if they're in there. I mean, obviously, a lot of these brands are starting to get to like your Ultas and your Sephoras, so you can try it out a little bit in the store. So if you have the opportunity to do that, absolutely, just do, you know, put a little on your hand and see if that's kind of, if that works for you. The good thing is there are stores now where you can kind of do that little tester without having to spend the money and then realize like, oh wow, this is really not the shade I was going for.
Yeah, and you know, when it comes to mineral sunscreens, we had a question here about finding one that was, someone had made a comment about mineral sunscreens, specifically the MD Solar Sciences made their skin feel a little bit dry. And the thing with mineral sunscreens is that minerals, the minerals they use for the sun protection, the zinc oxide and the titanium dioxide, they have a naturally dry finish to them.
They do.
Yeah, and so they have, that's why some mineral sunscreens can have a bit of a powdery finish. That's because of those mineral actives. Even if you add a lot of emollients to those formulas, sometimes that just really increases the weight of the formula, and you really don't get that kind of moisture benefit for, you know, a few hours after you've applied it. So it's difficult to make a mineral sunscreen that works really well for dry skin, that doesn't feel heavy. Sometimes you kind of have to, you know, go with using a lighter weight matte finish mineral sunscreen and then putting it on top of a lot of moisturizer to help counteract that. But it's kind of one of those unfortunate things you really can't avoid, just like the white cast. You really can't avoid that. We had a good question here from, so Karen665 had the question of any tips for toddler skincare. My 2-year-old has very dry skin, just sort of eczema. So what are some tips that, you know, we can give them to help manage that?
Well, I actually, this is something I know a little bit about. I have 2 little nieces. One's about to turn 3 next month. Hi, Emmy. And one is 2.5. Hi, Quinn. And they both have very dry skin. Like they've both had toddler eczema, very, very dry. And of course, if you have a little one who's in discomfort and dry, it's very distressing. But what works really well, CeraVe is really great because CeraVe products are generally very gentle, fragrance-free, and very moisturizing. If you go to Beautypedia, you can see all the CeraVe products that we have reviewed, and many of them have gotten our best rating. They are really great products. So definitely CeraVe. Also, Original Aquaphor is a good option as well. These are both really gentle and really moisturizing, and they seem to help a lot. And of course, As far as gentle cleansers, kind of making sure that you're not using kind of a drying soap, anything like that can kind of help make sure that their skin is getting as much moisture and retaining as much moisture as possible. It's a great idea. But as far as creams, CeraVe and Aquaphor are great options, and a really really gentle, mild cleanser. And that's really the biggest thing you can do to help.
And East Orlando, did they use Aquaphor, at all for their moisturizer, for moisturizing at all? East Orlando, Florida had mentioned slathering them in Aquaphor.
Yes, Aquaphor and CeraVe are both. That's kind of, those both are really work really well.
Yeah, Aquaphor can be a nice one, especially if you get really that severely dry skin. I'll use it sometimes in the wintertime on my hands or on really dry spots, just because it does certainly help seal kind of seal everything in. So Chevy Ho had the question of, what do you think of the once-a-day sunscreens? Are they effective? Never heard of a once-a-day sunscreen.
I mean, now you can apply sunscreen once a day depending on what your routine is, because sunscreen breaks down in the presence of sun. So if you get up in the morning and you put on your sunscreen and then you go to your car in the garage and you drive to work and then you go and park in the parking garage at work and you're indoors all day, then once a day is fine, probably fine. You're not getting a lot of sun exposure, but if you are outdoors all day long, I don't know of any sunscreen out there that exists yet where you don't need to reapply. If you're having direct sun exposure, you definitely need to reapply.
Yeah, it's unavoidable, and that's really how. The nice thing with sunscreens, though, it doesn't break down by the passage of time. As Mercedes was mentioning there, what you wear in the morning, if you're not someone who's working outside all day long, will be just as powerful, in the evening when you're driving home or walking home. So, but once a day, I've not heard of that beyond just being a marketing. Mm-hmm. Beyond just being a marketing thing, excuse me. So,
like those sunscreens where you're supposed to be able to drink it and it works.
Yeah.
Have you seen those? The drinkable sunscreen where you're supposed to drink a bottle of it and it's supposed to give you sun protection throughout the day.
There's also the sunscreen pills, the HelioCare, which is just as silly. So, did you know that Garnier had a micellar water?
I don't know. I do now.
Yeah.
Everybody, actually, a lot of brands have been putting out micellar waters.
Yeah.
That's
Vanessa Madelone had the question of, can you guys review the new Garnier micellar water, please? I've seen people compare it to the Bioderma and would like to know your thoughts on it. Micellar water in general is pretty much just a super mild cleanser. Mm-hmm. And I say super mild, I mean super mild. It's like a tiny bit of cleansing agents in with a lot of water, and that's pretty much it. But we'll definitely check it out, because micellar water it's having its moment right now. Just like BB creams had their moment.
Micellar water is the new BB cream.
Yes, it is. So Crystal, being Crystal, guten Abend there right now. Crystal had the question of, how do we know if our sunscreen is still working, or if it needs to be reapplied, or still working, or still good? So what's the unit of measurement? Time that we typically say?
Time generally is time, and of course, like we said, sun exposure. I mean, it really does matter how much sun you're getting. I mean, that's really the big thing is, and follow the instructions on the sunscreen. I mean, every sunscreen generally comes with a reapply within this amount of time. So, if you are in the sun all day long, adhere to that. And that's, I mean, there's really no way to know if your sunscreen's still working while it's on you. I don't know that there's any sort of you don't get a little alarm when your sunscreen stops working. And, I mean, obviously, if you start to get red skin, that's an indication. But you don't want to have the red skin indication being that your sunscreen isn't working anymore. So if in doubt, put on more sunscreen. That's pretty much just exercise caution, and just it's better to over apply than under apply.
Yeah, and so if you're going to be outside all day long, it could just be good, and the sun is kind of intermittent. If the sun's out all day long, and you're outside for several hours, then definitely I'd say probably every 2 hours, just to be on the safe side. You might set yourself a little alarm to go off then. But if the sun is kind of in and out, maybe 2-3 hours, it'd be a good range of time. But there's really, unfortunately, not a specific a specific, oh wait. Okay, so Crystal actually said, oh no, I meant after it's been opened. Is there a way to know it's still good? So we've been going on and on about this, and okay, yeah. So East Orlando, Florida had the answer pretty much, it's right. After you open it, 1 year is typically the good range. Now, there should be an expiration date on it specifically though. Even the EU has that requirement for over-the-counter drugs. Although EU is a little trickier though because they consider sunscreens cosmetics, so they don't have to have an expiration date on there. But most reputable brands will still print an expiration date. So usually you'll have that expiration date. But as East Orlando, Florida mentioned, most of the time it's going to be a year, but then about a year anyway from the time that you purchase it.
And that's true for a lot of skincare products as well. Within a year of when you open it, you really should think about getting a replacement.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, gosh, well, that was a fun show. So this is great. It was fun actually to come back. It's been a month. We were just saying yesterday that it's been exactly 1 month since the last live chat that we've done, and so now we'll actually have Beautypedia live chats, and this is going to be kind of a bit of a new fun thing that we're definitely looking forward to. That Beautypedia and Paula's Choice are not really not really splitting up per se, but we definitely are in a way kind of breaking apart to focus more on the things that we do best.
They're becoming more like. It's like when you have twins, and when and then like one decides that they like rock music and the other likes classical or whatever, but like they're developing their own identities.
Exactly. That's a good way to say it. So there'll be a lot more unique and fun things developing for Beautypedia, and this only beginning with its own social channels like YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and then also you'll be able to see kind of more interesting new products and different types of reviews.
Yeah.
Hints, teaser there. So, but yeah, be sure to come back for our next live chat. And I don't know at all what that's going to be about, but it will be good.
It will be awesome.
And if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see for future live chats, then by all means leave those in the comment section below, or stop by our Facebook page and let us know there.
Feedback. I mean, you're out there kind of seeing what's new and cool and exciting as well. So if you have any ideas of something you'd like to see covered, send them our way.
Absolutely. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, you can check our Facebook page for Beautypedia here shortly, and we'll have the best and worst skincare products up, the full list there with more information about those products. And then tomorrow, you'll have the full list of the best and worst makeup products. Yeah. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope that was fun for you as much as I hope it was good for you too. But have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.